Amen. So we'll say so far, from the testimony of friends and what we have witnessed, Mama, you have done, we can only say the Lord has done it for us. And it is an opportunity that God gave us, a wonderful lady who has been a trailblazer in this nation. In absentia, I want to thank Professor Kobia for coming up with this program. Because sometimes people do great things and people are forgotten. Or sometimes we don't celebrate them at the right time. So it is good that God has given us an opportunity to come and celebrate Mom when you're here, and you can also hear. Sometimes you do things and you don't even imagine yourself the impact that you have. But only people can tell you the impact that you have. And we have witnessed today, not only in Kenya, but in the world. I want to give a story on how God blesses people through others. And once upon a time, 1998, a young girl who was 18 years old and pregnant went to a home near Dagoretti High School and met a lady who was called Mrs. Wanjohi. And that girl, she had gotten married very young, and she was going to buy a land near Dagoretti High School, and that land belonged to Mrs. Wanjohi. And when that young girl walked in, she sat and they started talking. Mrs. Wanjohi asked that girl, "Young girl, how old are you?" And she said 18. And Mrs. Wanjohi asked, "Have you finished your school?" The young girl said yes. "And have you gone to college?" This young girl said, "I was meant to join the university. I got married, I got pregnant, I'm working, and I'm running my businesses. And so I chose to go to do accounts in Universal College, because then that young girl had been invited to join Moi University. And so Moi University became very complicated, and the girl had tried to go to JAB and apply for transfer from Moi University to join Nairobi University. It had become so difficult, so she had given up going for her university education. And so Mrs. Wanjohi then took her phone, called Professor Ishwani, who was then in Kenyatta University, and actually gave orders that there's this girl who has tried to ask for transfer or seek for transfer from JAB. It has become very difficult. So the orders were this: make sure that you facilitate the girl to be taken in Nairobi University to pursue her degree, and if it's not possible, take her to Kenyatta University. So those were the only options that Mrs. Wanjohi gave. And that was the end of the story. And after that, after a month or two, the young girl was called from by her mother, because you know then the addresses were given for PO Box, Kigumo, Muranga. They were told there's a letter from University of Nairobi for you to join the university in August. She was to join the university in September. It was September 29th. That was 1998. And she gave birth to the baby on September 27th. And that young girl is now the women rep in Muranga County, called SABINA. I have never met Mrs. Wanjohi again. I bought the land, yes. And I've seen today, I've remembered that story. I've always said, I look for her Monday and tell her, you changed my life. I did my first degree in education at Kikuyu campus. I did my master's in communication. I went back, I did my MBA, and now I'm pursuing my PhD. I've actually done my coursework. I'm only pursuing now the research. I finished my PhD. So, Mom, through the friends that you have mentored, they have also mentored us, and we are who we are today because of them. So sometimes, I think if you remember the story you have in Hummingbird by Wangari Maathai, you may do something small, and you may never remember it, but you may have made an impact to very, very many people. I know Mrs. Wancho, you can't remember. I was very thin then and tiny and small. And so I'm happy to be here today. As we celebrate Mom, I also want to celebrate the friendship I've seen. You know, somebody saying I was in the same class, 1961. No, 71 was actually teaching. So when the alliance, you said it was African girls. And today you are together. You know, you have challenged all of us. Sometimes we get tired of each other. We have been friends, a few of us here. And even for you to create an opportunity, I love the story of, you know, asking where are these all women? And because when the first time I became the women rep from Muranga, I asked, you know about the boys from Muranga, where are the women? And I started something called Muranga Daughters. COVID came and we were tonight for a long time. But we asked where are the daughters of Muranga, because we know the James Mwangi, we know the Munga and everybody. But where are the girls? Because we have many, you know, powerful and great girls from Muranga County. And I'm happy today that we are celebrating one of our girls. And so, as we celebrate this day, lessons to learn. You know, when we ask where the girls are, I think for us who are younger, we are being challenged that we need to hold as many girls' hands as possible. And I know there's a way that people have been saying the girl empowerment is too much. Let's think about the boy child. It's true, I'm a mother, and have a son also. And we are holding many boys also, but we cannot forget the role of us being mentors to the many girls. And we said, what I've also picked from here, create the space. You may not know what those girls need, but once we create a space for them to come in, we will be able to mentor as many as possible. Maybe we'll try and and I'm saying we'll try and walk on your steps. And for us, Winnie, who God has given us an opportunity now, I pray that if one of us tries it, let us not tell them, don't dare. Let's cheer. Let's cheer each other along and see it's more potential. Let's see how we can be able to assist us. And I believe we're going to the elections, and I'm happy the way this nation is going. And now we are one nation. And we're not judging anyone from where they come from. I'm just from here at the Ngararia market, and I was telling them, bottom line is who can perform best for this nation. It doesn't matter the tribe, it doesn't matter where you come from. And I think His Excellency the President has done a great job to demystify, you know, the barriers that we put, the tribal barriers. And I can see here, you already had opened up a long time ago. And so those stereotyping and trying to, you know, like put ourselves in small cocoons, I think it's an important time that we open up. And I hope as they sit on the table, they'll think about a woman becoming a deputy president in this nation. Because I think, you know, and it's not thinking, it's not guessing. Women have a very big potential. And I always say when women take up leadership from the church level, from the national level, even the world, I think the world, we have the responsibility because God gave us that mothering. We nurture. When we are given a seed, it grows in us and we are able to multiply. So I believe that even in leadership, we have that space and we need to take it, and I know God is going to bless us. Enjoy being in Muranga County. Karibuni sana. Mrs. Wanjoi, Nona Dokata Maitu. I will have to carry a kiondo and get a few women from Muranga and trace your home and come and say thank you. I owe you. May God bless you so much. Mommy, we pray for long life and good health. And we will continue praying for you. May God bless you and your children. For the many things that you have offered, even the work, the energy, you and your family, that you have extended to other children. May God also open doors for your children. God bless you so much. Asanteni sana.
Next we'll have Deputy Governor from Nyeri, Dr. Caroline.
I thank you very much for this privilege of speaking. Our chief guests, Mama EDDAH, all protocols observed. I see we have extremely distinguished women. Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Caroline Karugu. I serve as Deputy Governor of your neighboring county called Nyeri. And I hereby bring you greetings, warm greetings from the people of Nyeri County. You are our dear neighbors. So when you celebrate, by extension, Nyeri County does celebrate. Today we are here really to celebrate a woman whose shoulders we have stood upon. And as you know, as I heard the many testimonials, one thing that came into my mind is, how do we define the epitome of real mentorship? The epitome of real mentorship is defined by mentoring people you have never met. Mami, I am one of those people. As a little girl, my mother kept encouraging me to go to school, to take my education seriously. And there are two women she would always talk about. She spoke about Professor Wangari Maathai, and she spoke about Dr. EDDAH GACHUKIA. So every time she would tell me, and you allow me to speak a little in Kikuyu, udhome no udhome na hinya, ugathie makerere ta EDDAH GACHUKIA. Tuone tukihaisha baadhi ukagukirira dhobi. So those words of my mother, you know, rang in my mind as I went through school. And a couple of weeks ago, I received a call from the Ministry of Gender, that long name, Gender, Public Service, that, you know. And they said to me, we would like to invite you to our program, a Trailblazer program, where we are recognizing women who have gone before us, and we'd like you to join the one that's particularly going to go to Mount Kenya, which is going to go to Mama EDDAH's. And I said, it was a very emotive time. As most of you know, I just recently buried my mother. I remember I called Shebes and I said, I don't know if I'll be strong enough to see a mother, because I have a feeling devoid of a mother. So I will not dwell on that because I'm going to get emotional. So I'm still healing, but seeing Mommy here, you know, makes me so proud. You know, it makes me, you know, I feel that I still have a mother, and one that I can draw a lot of wisdom from. So, having grown up being told, be like Mama EDDAH, I remember when I graduated not too long ago with my PhD, I think that must have been 2019. My mom came to my celebration and she said, because according to my mother, if you get a PhD, the next natural thing, you're now a scholar and you're an educationist, you must start a school so that you begin to transfer the knowledge that you have. So, Mami, for all the work you have done, knowingly and not knowingly, I stand here, first of all, as living testimony to tell you it has not been in vain. Amen. You have touched our lives. If you ever felt weary, if you ever felt tired, that maybe some of the things that you do not have an impact on society, I am here as living testimony to tell you your work has not gone in vain. I'm also here to give you an assurance that the work that you have done will be continued. That's very important, that the work of mentoring the younger girls will be continued. I have been mentored by a lot of people. Politically, my mentor sits here with me today. And it's good to have Rachel Shebesh as your mentor, because not many people mess with you and they know you. That kind of woman is behind you. So do not feel like there is a vacuum. We will try, and like Mama County here said, they are very, very big shoes for us to fit in. We have grown in a society not like yours, a society that is influenced by the digital space and a lot of disruptors, so to speak. So it's easy sometimes for you to watch us going away from the path, ndukanogione ithwe, na gututara, na gutushokia into line. Please do not get tired. That's what I'm saying for those who don't understand French. I'm asking her not to be tired, because we still, even old as we are today, require your mentorship, we require your love, we require you to handhold us, and we do promise that we will pay it forward by being able to be mentors of the next generation of women leaders. As I conclude, I think I can't conclude without, speaking a little bit about where we are, as a country, especially from the perspective of women. As we head to the next election, there are some questions that we are beginning to ask ourselves as women. And the good thing about having a conversation with women is that when you speak to women, you're speaking to a generation. A woman, like you've had Mama County here speaking, when we talk about women, we think about our children. And we are asking ourselves as women of this country, where is this country headed? And I feel like it is time, especially for women in this country, to call ourselves to a meeting. Because how we manage this transition of this government and the next government is a make or break, not only for us as women, but for our dear children and generations to come. And therefore I urge you as women, because I have been looking at the polls of both candidates, both the Honorable Raila Odinga and Ruto, and we are trailing behind with the women vote, especially here in Mount Kenya. The women in Mount Kenya are trailing behind with Raila's campaign. And I can understand that the other guy has a head start. But one of the things I want us to remember, especially as Mount Kenya women, is every time we have post-election violence, remember whose image you see first. That person carrying a kiondo on the back, a mukodoro on top of the kiondo, a child in front, that is not going to be a man. That person is going to be you, it is going to be me, it's going to be my auntie, it is going to be my uncle. And therefore the single most important thing for us as a nation is that person who preaches peace, that person who preaches unity, that person who wants to pull our country together. And I know beyond any shadow of a doubt that that man is Raila Amolo Odinga. And I'm not here to campaign, I'm just here to state to you some facts. And as women, like the way now with age, Raila Odinga has gotten grace to be the man that he is today. And therefore, I want to urge you as women to think deeply about who we want to bequeath this nation to. Whether it will be a man of honor, a man who is dignified, or it will be a man who will instill not only your prosperity, but that of your children and the children to come. If you ask me, Dr. Caroline Karugu, that man is Raila Amolo Odinga. I thank you all for the privilege of your attention. Thank you.
And next we'll have Chief Administrative Secretary, Winnie Gushu.
Thank you very much. God is good, and all the time. God is good. I know I'll call you the way we've called you all my life. I've always called you EDDAH GACHUKIA, because that's the name I found. And to say that I'm one of those people you don't know, but you have greatly mentored, and we have worked alongside you. And sometimes I want a piece of you because I'm also called Washeke. So every time, when I learned that you're called Washeke, as a very young girl, I knew that Washekes are tough girls. So I believed that I had to work so hard and become like Washeke, so that I do not let the name down. So I hope I'm still a journey. I'm still walking the path. But I knew of you because I worked, as a young girl, I worked at FIDA. And we were fighting for the rights of women. And basically, most of the issues that we were facing with women was going to save women who are going through very serious forms of domestic violence, and also providing representation for them in court, and also referring them to where they can be able to get help. One of the biggest challenges that those women were facing was that they were in those relationships because they were not economically empowered. And this goes right down to having a good education. So what we really admired about the work that you are doing, you are dealing with a very important area of closing the gap so that women in the future are not being abused because they are not empowered to take care of themselves, and that women are respected. Today, I think we have achieved that to a very, very great extent. And we have a lot of women who are secure in their relationships, in their marriages, because they have a good foundation and a good education. So for that, we are truly grateful. The second thing that I want to talk about, and this is also because we have worked a lot with Wanjiku Kabera. Wanjiku Kabera is the one I caught up with and were able to work with her. And every time she spoke about affirmative action, affirmative action, affirmative action. And I just wonder, what is this affirmative action about? So I took a lot of time to read about it and to understand it. But to say that the work that you started, the senior women who started this work before us, is that you put, I'll just mention two. You know, when we were in civil society, we were talking from the outside. Then we got an opportunity now to come to the inside. Some of you before us, you were in government way before us, and you fought for some things that are still, till today, very, very deep. You fought for girls to go back to school even after they gave birth. You're the women who fought for that. And it was a very, very, very difficult journey, because you were getting a lot of opposition in parliament, and they were saying, why would you want mothers to be in school? And you stood firm, and today, I just want to assure you that I work in the Ministry of Interior as the Chief Administrative Secretary, and we have a very, very strong rule that when a girl gives birth, she must go back to school. And that is an instruction from government, from the president, that a girl who gives birth must go back to school. And even when we go around, when we're inspecting examination, one of the things that we ask, and is a directive from the president, is, are girls able to do their exams? So you actually find when exams are being dispatched, there will be an officer who is being dispatched to a particular hospital, another hospital, so that the girl who is on labor or gave birth yesterday is able to sit the exam as soon as she is comfortable enough after delivery, or if she has not delivered, if she's not in deep labor pain, then she's able to do the exam. Otherwise, she will be able to sit all her exams after giving birth. I thought it is important for you to know that, because it is something you struggled with for a long time. It has come, it became successful. I just want to confirm that to date, it is still being implemented by the government as a very sensitive area for the president. And Ruth is here, she can bear me witness to that. The second thing I want to talk about is this affirmative action that you really fought for. And in education, I'm giving these examples because they're education bound, and they come a long way to the work that you started. And there was the affirmative action that girls can be accepted to different levels of education with lower grades than boys. And you really, really worked hard on that. And very many women today are beneficiaries of university education because of just that 1 point difference that was lowered to enable girls to get a good education. So just to say that you have mentored so many, you will never know them, you will never see them, but their life completely changed because of those few deeds that you did that have had a very, very serious impact on very many women. Those of us who are in leadership today have benefited. We are there in leadership because of the work that a lot of you did for women to come into representation. women to participate in political leadership, and you fought for quotas, fought for it for so many years. And today we are here because we have been able to be empowered, we have a voice, we are firm, we are able to stand strong and talk and represent women in this country. And last but not least, I want to thank the ministry for taking this approach. You know, many times you celebrate people in a big crowd, and you really cannot celebrate people when you have 10 of them. You know, your name gets mentioned in passing. You know, EDDAH GACHUKIA, Governor Wajiko. I'm very happy to meet Wabuz. That's what she was called in Kenya High School. True? Yes. Yes. So when she was talking, I was like, is that Wabuz? I'm not a student. My sister was your student, and she used to talk about Wabuz a lot. So you see, you get mentioned in passing, and you really do not have the time to appreciate this person. And today, I think I want to thank the Ministry of Gender for taking this approach of visiting these trailblazers individually, so that we are able to spend time, reflect, and give them the time that they deserve, and also to be able to share with them a lot of information that they really do not have access to. And sometimes they're just going about their business. I don't think when she was doing what she was doing, she intended for a day like this to be celebrated. She was going about her business. She was passionate about something. She had a calling of doing something. So she was just going about her business. And then, oops, here we are. You mean it has impacted? I'm sure she must be like, oh, those days we used to sit in Bungi and people would belittle. And just as I finished, the reason why I got into the women's movement is because of your conference. I didn't know you're the one who was organizing it with Wanjiko. I've just heard her. Sorry, I use first the women in civil society, that's the way we talk. So it's not out of disrespect. We call each other on first name basis, even when they're older than us. So in the first conference that was held, and you know, I didn't know it was you organizing, and Wanjiko, that's how she got looped into the women's movement, and then we got looped and met in our lives. But men talked so badly about that conference. I was a young girl. In our house, we used to have parties all the time. So one day we were having a party, and of course my dad, his friends, my mom, there's a big party. And the men are sitting in a corner, and they're discussing this women's conference. Huh? Atumia, eh? You can imagine. I don't want to talk about it, because my dad might see me, and you know, I have to. But anyway, they were talking about this women's meeting, that these women, they want to take over, and whatever. Who's going to be cooking? I think they want to be leaders. Who will be cooking? Who will be taking care of children? And what. So as a young girl listening to them, I thought, wait a minute. You are very busy paying school fees for me so that I can be educated. And then now you're sitting here discussing the women who have been educated to do the things that you want me not to do. How is that possible? So that's the time I decided, I'm getting into this movement. So because of your work, quietly, it draws and draws and draws and changes a lot of people's lives, even when you don't intend. So we can only pray for you and thank you. And many other girls who are not here to thank you, because they don't even know what you did for them. I want to speak on their behalf and to thank you most sincerely on their behalf and on behalf of ourselves who have the privilege to be able to see you. Thank you very much, and God bless you abundantly. Thank you.
As our program continues, I want to take this opportunity to read just a short profile. It's in your programs. It is nothing much, because what we've had is way more you would have learned so much, and she'll show you impacted people in so many ways. But we'll go through this. Professor EDDAH GACHUKIA, MBS, is known for her passion for girls' education and women's empowerment. She founded, together with African Women Education Ministers, Forum for African Women Educationists, FAWE, in 1992. FAWE's membership is composed of education minister and women vice chancellors because it is focused on influencing national policies on education of girls and women in the continent. EDDAH was also a vice chair of Maendeleo Wanawake. In 1974, EDDAH was nominated as a member of parliament, joining Grace Onyango and Jemima Gichaga, who were the only women in parliament then. EDDAH would again be nominated to parliament between 1979 to 1984. In parliament, she advocated for women's interests, family planning, and child spacing. EDDAH has been in the education sector, having started with the kindergarten, primary school for boys and girls, high school for girls only, and lately the Riara University. EDDAH was the chair and senior lecturer at the University of Nairobi for many years. She was a member of the women's negotiating team throughout the review process. She was among the women who formed the political wing of the affirmative action. Commemoration of International Women's Day 2022, Gender Equality for a Sustainable Tomorrow. And with that, I want to invite Ngorecho Shebesh.
Thank you, Stella.
And good afternoon, everybody. I'm privileged to stand here on behalf of my Cabinet Secretary, Professor Margaret Kobia, and also to be in the presence of Dr. EDDAH GACHUKIA, a name I mentioned so many times, I think you trip or bite yourself or whatever, because every time I speak, I am a product of the women's movement. I am really a product. I don't pretend I was clever to get where I am. I was really mentored and I moved through, as Winnie is saying, meeting to meeting, I appear. Elections of Maendeleo, there I am. People are going, I don't know, to demonstrate, I'm demonstrating. Because those are the shoulders on which we have, stood. And because of that, I'm really privileged to be here on behalf of my Cabinet Secretary, Professor Margaret Kobia, and of course, on behalf of the President of the Republic of Kenya, on who the program Trailblazer sits, and whose instructions we are following by coming to visit Trailblazers at home. I know you've all said what a wonderful idea, and even when the CS briefed me and told me, let's write. I have a CS, by the way, who is amazing. In case you don't know, Professor Margaret Kobia, take time. Probably the best gender minister we have had in this country. I can give it for free. Being a gender activist, I can tell you. And also a woman who has no insecurities and is happy for you to guide where she thinks you probably know a bit more than her. And that is why I have really grown in this ministry. I'm no longer a noisemaker, I'm a problem solver. that is the task she gave me. And I remember she kept saying, Shebesh, my cars. Yeah, you are strong, women love you, ABCD. But what will you leave as a legacy? What will people be saying? Oh, Shebesh was what? A noisemaker, a demonstrator, a mover, a mentor, yes. And then what? And she said, until you can be written in history that the likes of Dr. EDDAH GACHUKIA, Phoebe Asio, and the rest, I will feel like I have not, molded you in these 5 years we are together. So I am being molded to also have one day a book written about me, not just about the streets, but about what I have done specifically to get women leadership where it is today. And just to tell you, in our Trailblazer program, the president did direct us to write memoirs, and we are already in the process of writing those memoirs for those who have not started writing. And many of our Trailblazers, that is already happening. That, again, direction directly from the president himself, which means, as you know, that he understands, he gets the value. And because he has legacy programs, and you all know the president has special legacy programs. One of the special and to his heart legacy program is this program of trailblazers. And so that's why we are here. We are here because we're under instruction, but also we are here because we recognize the work you have done, and because everybody who has spoken here has said what I would have said. I mean, the only other angle I can bring that nobody has brought here is about private schools, because private schools are our story that the GACHUKIAs have been at the forefront of modeling and putting in the place where we are recognized, because we also run private schools. And I can tell you, my sister will tell you this, and my late father, if it was not for Dr. EDDAH GACHUKIA and her family, many of the private school owners today probably would have been lost along the way. So that's probably the only story I've not heard here, but I will tell you that on behalf of us who are in that industry. So what I want to do now is the official program, because even if I try to speak, I will be repeating and I will be diluting what many people have said here. But just to say, even as I sit here, I see many other trailblazers, and I'm amazed and happy that by coming to see one trailblazer, we sit together, many other trailblazers. Dr. Wanjiku Kabera, you know where we place you in life, you know us. All the women who have come through the women's movement, you are our solid rock, I can assure you, solid rock. I think Dr. Ruth Kadia is being very modest about who she is. You know, modesty, I was not really born with it, but I can see people are born with modesty. It's a very good thing. But we know when you talk about deep state, you make a mistake if you don't know who deep state is. And we are very proud that as women, we have somebody we can call and run to. And I know we give you sometimes work that is not yours, especially when it comes to issues women. But whenever in government we need the president to hear that word faster and quickly and with more conviction, that is where we go, and we thank you for that. Mama County, we are proud of you. You have inspired many young people, many young girls, and many women in leadership have been mentored already at your age by you. So again, we sit amongst a trailblazer. Winnie Gushu, you know, you have also been our teacher in many ways, but also where you sit now in government, again, another level of deep state. We do appreciate you. Deputy Governor of Nyeri, we like you a lot of English. I'm not sure you are meant to be a politician. I think you should be going in the direction of Dr. GACHUKIA more, yeah. But wherever you go, we are proud of the work you do so far. And all the ladies who are here, I'm so happy to meet you. I think I've been on the cover of the magazine.
Yes, you have.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I was also on the cover of the That's so, I was so happy to see you. And yes, you are the headmistress of my sister. And we used to compete which headmistress is tougher than the other. What did they used to call her again? Huh? Wabuz. Wabuz was the one. Huh? Mrs. Wanjo, isn't it? We knew you even if we didn't know you. If you had a sister or a cousin or anybody who went to Kenya High. So again, you are a legend. And thank you for holding together the vision of Starehe Girls Center. I mean, that to me is something, again, that will be written in the history for what you people have done for the girls who are needy. So let me now go, if you will allow me kindly, to go straight to the official part of this so that we can wrap up. My CS would not believe that we are still on up to this hour. She's such a stickler for time. I feel like she's watching me from somewhere behind here. So I will just first officially give you the remarks from our ministry, and then I will ask kindly that you be upstanding as I give you the plaque for the trailblazer. But for now, maybe you can just, let me first just read it. Which one do you prefer to hold for me or to read? Because you know, first of all, my eyes are gone, so the problem's already suffered.
Okay, let me have the privilege to read the goodwill message. This is to bring you greetings and goodwill message from His Excellency the President, Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta, and the First Lady of the Republic of Kenya, Her Excellency Mrs. Margaret Kenyatta, in commemoration of International Women's Day 2022 celebrations. Today, Kenya celebrates numerous gains in gender equality and women empowerment in the social, economic, political, and cultural spheres. We are deeply aware that this progress is a result of the spirit and strength of pioneer women like you, Professor EDDAH GACHUKIA. Your heroic work has contributed immensely in shaping and charting way forward in Kenyan's history. The narrative of our country's journey cannot be complete without the recognition of the special individual and collective contribution of Professor EDDAH. You are sincerely thanked and appreciated for your valuable contribution. As a country, we remain indebted to you as a trailblazer for charting a path towards social justice, equality, and prosperity for all. The journey that you started is on course. We assure you that the government will continue with efforts to empower women and girls to play a bigger role in national building. May God continue to endow you with good health and blessings to offer wise counsel to those who will continue with the journey you started. God bless Professor EDDAH GACHUKIA, MBS. God bless Kenya. From Professor Margaret Kobia, PhD, EGH, Cabinet Secretary, February 2022. Asanteni sana.
So this is the point at which I'll ask if you'll be upstanding.
Kindly be upstanding.
I think I just want to stand only for this particular one because this is a head of state commendation. Because the Trailblazer program, as I told you, is that from the President. So this from the Republic of Kenya is the Kenya Eminent Women Trailblazers Recognition Award. The government of Kenya is pleased to present Professor EDDAH GACHUKIA, MBS, in recognition of outstanding contribution to promoting gender equality and nation building.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.